Welcome to my Ascended Astrology channel, Starseed Continuum. This is our reading for the zodiac sign Scorpio. And this is a very interesting reading because it looks like maybe you're going to fear what is being said, but what is actually happening is that Death card to begin with means that you're finally ready to lay down all the perceptions you have around completion. And the second card that we're seeing, because we're going to read these in rows, the second card that we're seeing is the 22. And this is the support card that's backing up that Death card, because this is actually a liberation. The 22 is a master card in our oracle deck, and it is the feeling of creator and creation. And then what's backing that up with the frequency, it's bringing in the frequency of the 7, which is listening to the divine guidance coming in. And it's like a finality to the way that you've been looping. And that is a celebration for moving through where you're not vacillating, that you're laying it down once and for all. And then we're bringing in the next row, which is the 5 of Cups. And this is where the transition is happening. That 5 of Cups is bringing in this feeling of the grief that you're feeling with actually being willing to shift. And that grief is just passing through. And so it's nothing to be afraid of, but it's something that's transitioning from the matrix into mastery. And then you have that 18-1 that's supporting that. And that breaks down to find reality. And know that that is not the truth about you, because because what's supporting that is the 4 frequency, which is building a brand new structure. And then our third row is the Queen of Pentacles. And that is where you're being nourished. The divine is like embracing you because you're listening. And then you have a 13, which is where you're embodying that 4. That 13-4 is the embodiment level of the new structure coming in. And then our last card, our last frequency card, is the 9. And through this reading, you're being able to gamify reality, where you're not taking it to heart, where you're just seeing it. It's a transitionary phase. And so this is your reading. And let's just read it row by row. Let's start with the frequencies. You are bringing in the 7, which is a direct phone line to the divine. And it is connecting to the 4, which is a new structure coming on, where you're seeing things very clearly. And then that 9, which is you're being able to transition into gamifying reality. It's you're seeing everything that you're moving through as divine. And then the middle row, we have the 22, which is a MasterCard. And that 22 is allowing creation and creator. This gives you choice. And that's what that's saying. And then you have the 9, which you look at this and it has the big vase and then the little vase. This is, if you want to look at it, you can look at that 1, which is way shower, and the 8, which is flow. And that's what you're being able to see right now is that 18-9, which is bringing in a whole new place to land. And then you have that 13 in the embodiment level, and it's the 1 and the 3, which means that the creation is starting to come online. Look at that. Look at the card and how it's the 13-4 is just bringing it into a higher level. And then let's look at the top level, which is the tarot. You've got the death, which means you're ready to lay things down. And then you have the 5 of cups, which is moving through whatever you have to move through to get to the Queen of Pentacles, which is seeing a whole new level of mastery. And now we brought up the slide of your bioquantum frequency map for Taurus season, which is May. We're seeing that we have 2 more. We have this one, and then we have the Sagittarius before we pick a new frequency map for the 3 master cards. And let's look at this as if we were looking at it for the first time, because we're looking at it through Scorpio's eyes. So you start with a epigenetic awakening, and here's that 3, and you can look at that 3 as being able to transition right through the tarot, the death, the 5 of cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. You're able to just see yourself with that 3 where you're moving through it, and now you're seeing and on the other side of those 3 cards. And then we go to the environmental listening. Where in your environment are you seeing this 9? And the 9 is being supported by your oracle cards. You've got the 22, which is a master card, which is creator creation. Then you have the 9 at the mastery level. And it's you can see with this 9, if you look at it, I'm going to show you the card. If you look at this 9, you can see the new coming in right here. It means that you're not holding on to this, what the frequency looked like before. You're bringing in this new frequency. And then you can see with that 9 that you're bringing in the 13. And it's an up sweep, which means that that 4 is starting to create a brand new frequency for you. And then we move down to the mental reprogramming, and that is that 1. And this it really connects to the 3 frequency cards, because it's like you're looking at that direct line to the divine, which you are, moving into the 4, which is Capricorn and the alchemist, and you're creating a new vision. And then the 9, which you're seeing everything as divine. And then we're moving over to that 11, which is your DNA activation. And so it's bringing in that 11 energy, which means no timelines. And so you're like a brand new clean slate as you're moving forward. And then we move up into the 6, which is connecting to the body. And what the body is saying, that every cell in your body is awakening. And this 6 is that transition point where you're really connecting to that listening. And then you move up into that 4, which is now you're ready to create a brand new structure. So the Scorpio season is really diving into something really deep. and bringing this to clarity, trusting the divine, and allowing the new frequency to anchor into who you are. And now I'm feeling the symbols for the evolution technology coming in to support this Scorpio reading, because it's really on this precipice of complete change in your life. So let's connect to the evolution technology symbol. I want you to just look at this and really bring in the technology. Ask for this technology to turn on, because it does it automatically. I just want you to be aware of it. And we're going to, first thing is connect to the luminous. The luminous turns on 0 point. And when you're connecting to the luminous, it brings everything into neutrality. And then the second code is bringing in the scalar. And the scalar is this frequency of, it's not only turning on the technology, but it's really setting it totally in. And then our third code is the 33. And your 33 is where the expression comes in so clearly. And the expression is what brings in your brand new higher timeline. And so let's just connect. We're going to connect to the pineal gland in the center of your brain. And what you're seeing is that blue-white light. And as this blue-white light is turning on, it's coming from a pinpoint and it's filling your brain. And as it's filling your brain, we're watching it go down past the 0 point, right here at the back of the head, moving down the spinal column. And as it's moving down the spinal column, we're seeing it just, it's like igniting every single cell in the body, because you're asking for clarity. And so clarity is turning on. And as we're moving down the spinal column, we move up into the heart space. And this heart space is where the mitochondria and that really higher connection works in this heart space. And now we're moving back up into the pineal, and we're just seeing it set in and totally turn on. And so what I'm feeling is, as we've turned this on, we're seeing this reading. And as we've done the attunement and completed that attunement, look at this reading. Because when you would look at it before, you would look, oh, there's death, but you're seeing, and the 5 of Cups. But the truth is, the death is not a death. It is the death of old conditioning. And then that 5 of Cups is just what you're moving through until you connect to the Queen of Pentacles. This is the grounded part of this reading, which is the Taurus energy. It's grounded. And then you have that water of the Scorpio, where it's deep, deep connection to where everything just turns into information. With that which is your support cards. You have the 22, which is connecting to the death, which means that the death is an illusion. It's like you are creator and creation. Moving to that 5 of Cups. That nine, which is gamifying reality, is that's where that Five of Cups is. Transitioning right into the Queen of Pentacles, which means is that there's just an abundance with the nurturing. The divine is is comforting and nourishing this new foundation that you're building, because that 13 is that foundation at a higher frequency. And then that nine, which is supporting that nine is gamifying reality, which means that you are connected to something brand new. And how exciting is that? And so this is your Scorpio reflection in the Taurus season. So thank you for joining me for this short reading. And it's really exciting that we're right here at this place as we've gone around the zodiac wheel and we're at Scorpio, because now it's showing us true movement. So thank you for joining me with this miraculous shift that we're seeing for you. Do you see that? Do you see where the shift is coming online? I don't know where you guys are in your life, but the frequency right now in the collective is we're more and more moving into this frequency of freedom, mastery, and new foundation. On Friday, we're going to do the last reading, which is going to be our Sagittarius reading. And then next week on Monday, we're going to connect to a new frequency map to represent the three master cards: Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So we'll see you for another reading of Ascended Astrology, Starseed Continuum, anchoring cosmic wisdom into embodied evolution. As you could see, it's about resonance, alignment, and connecting to your highest self. Thank you.